All right, so when was the last Pentagon press briefing before today? Let's find out. The Pentagon did not hold any press briefings in December 2025 prior to December 2nd. The last one occurred in November 2025 following the mainstream press corps' walkout in October over new access rules. The December 2 briefing marked the first instead. Okay, so it hasn't been super long. November? Okay. Well, I wasn't sure. I must have missed the last one. All right, well, let's see how this one went.
Hello, everyone. Welcome.
Corey. I'm good, Corey. How are you, brother?
Good morning, and welcome to the Department of War.
TV.
Before we begin, I want to take a moment
What's up,
to
KH?
recognize and
KX?
honor Specialist Sarah Beckstrom, the guardsman who was murdered
Monster
in DC
Moth.
this
What's up,
past
brother?
weekend. She is an American hero, and we will never forget her
appreciate the follow,
service
Core.
and sacrifice. While we mourn her loss, we will continue to pray for the full recovery of Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf, the other service member critically injured in this heinous attack. This attack on our National Guardsmen in D.C. follows months of Democrat elected officials demonizing the National Guard, portraying them as a threat to our republic, and attempting to sow discord in their ranks. To name a few examples, Governor Gavin Newsom claimed that President Trump was fabricating emergencies in order to justify...
Who's Kingsley Wilson? Let's find out. I don't recognize that name. Kingsley Wilson. I think I spelt it right. Pentagon Press Secretary personal account. Okay. Interesting. That probably would have been a better thumbnail right there. Let's see. Well, oh, here we go. Here's the official press secretary account. April 24th. Okay. 1 hour. Yeah. It looks like this is the most recent one. All right. Well, interesting.
The deployment of the National Guard in some major cities. Governor J.B. Pritzker claimed that the deployment of the
Had to let the cat in.
National Guard amounted to an attack on the American people. Outside an ICE facility in California, Rep. Maxine Waters taunted the troops standing guard
what's up, brother?
And demanded to know whether they intended to shoot her. And of course, the seditious six urged members of our military to defy their chain of command in an unprecedented, treasonous, and shameful conspiracy to sow distrust and chaos in our armed forces. This rhetoric insults our warfighters who put their lives on the line every day to keep Americans safe, and it creates an environment where criminals feel emboldened to commit violent acts against them. Right now, over 2,200 National Guardsmen from all across the country are serving as a part of Joint Task Force DC, with an additional 500 on the way. Each one of them will continue working to ensure the safety of all who live, work, and visit the district. We will not lose sight of our mission. This targeting will only embolden our resolve. Our warriors are strong, and we will not back down until our capital and our cities are secure. Defending our homeland and rescuing America's greatest cities from endemic violence is the highest and best use of our military.
What's up, Microwave Lord?
I would also like to take a moment today to welcome all of you here to the Pentagon Briefing Room as official new members of the Pentagon Press Corps. We're glad to have you. Legacy Media chose to self-deport from this building, and if you look at the numbers, it's pretty clear why no one followed them. National trust in these mainstream media outlets has cratered to 28%, the lowest ever recorded. The American people don't trust these propagandists because they stopped telling the truth. So we're not going to beg these old gatekeepers to come back, and we're not rebuilding a broken model just to appease them. Instead, we're welcoming new media outlets that actually reach Americans, ask real questions, and don't pursue a biased agenda. The public has moved on from the old model, and so will the Pentagon. This is the beginning of a new era. We look forward to working with you to keep the American people informed and to ensure transparency.
Good to see you. I just want to thank you for your service.
In the interest of transparency,
I appreciate you, man.
I want to provide an update
up.
on the department's operations against narco-terrorists in the Western Hemisphere. To date, there have been a total of 21 kinetic strikes on drug boats in our hemisphere, with 82 narco-terrorists killed. Each strike conducted against these designated terrorist organizations is taken in defense of vital U.S. national...
So this is not a White House press briefing. This is a Pentagon press briefing. So the White House press secretary is still the same person, still Caroline Leavitt. And this press secretary is the Pentagon press secretary, Kingsley Wilson, who I know nothing about her. I don't know anything about her. So... I wouldn't have there's no way I could even have an opinion at this point. I don't know who she is.
Interests and to protect
She's been there for a little while, I guess, but
the homeland. Our operations
What's up, Dream
in the
K2?
Southcom
Hello.
region are lawful under both U.S. and international law, with all actions in compliance with the law of armed conflict.
Oh,
These
somebody's phone
actions
went
have
off.
also been approved by the best military and civilian lawyers
Yeah, name
up and down
name
the chain
sounds
of
familiar.
command. A completely fake
Yeah.
story in the Washington Post, now discredited by the New York Times, tried to mischaracterize these successful strikes in bad faith. It was an attempt to damage the secretary.
So here's my short and skinny of this whole thing. I'm so busy, I haven't even been able to look into it, but it looks extremely muddy, the whole thing, because apparently there was an article that got released from somebody that was accusing the Secretary Hegseth of conducting something that was against the law of armed conflict, and then somebody else came out with a counter article or something. I'm not sure about it. I know that the main focal point is people are talking about like a drug boat that was hit with 2 separate strikes or something like that. I don't know what the purpose was. And I think it was 2 strikes. I'm not sure. But it's so convoluted at this point because there's been so many like perspectives and like ways that people were framing it that I just don't know. It's like I can't even track on what's happening because there's too much happening at one time, too many people covering too many different angles for it. So I just don't even know. I would encourage you to look it up and like inform yourself about it, but I just haven't had any time to look into it because it's too crazy. And I honestly, like, I've had people asking me like why I haven't covered it yet, but honestly, it's more just because it's so muddy at this point. The waters have been so muddied with this thing. I don't like. There's no way for me to figure out, like, I unless I spent like a full day looking into it and like tracing all the lines to like who did what and when what happened and all that stuff, or what articles were written. I just don't have time for that, unfortunately, right now because I got too much other stuff going on. So if you want to look into it, that's like the big hot topic that's buzzing right now that a lot of people are talking about. But I mean, again, that's up to you.
And the president and the people saw through it. The phony Washington Post story even attributed
You had a drug
statements
boat off
to
the coast of Mexico, your first
that were
deployment?
totally fabricated. He never
Miss
said them.
Shoeshine.
That is the epitome of fake news.
My husband told me
As
to
the
follow.
White House confirmed
Husband's a
yesterday,
good man.
the decision to restrike the narco-terrorist vessel was made by Admiral Bradley, operating under clear and long-standing authorities to ensure the boat was destroyed. And
Okay, so that's definitely the thing. I think that a lot of people, I've heard people saying on Twitter that they were accusing the Secretary Hegseth of ordering the double strike, and now they're saying that the admiral in charge of JSOC, or I think it's actually Southcom's admiral, was the one that made the decision. I don't know. I think tomorrow, from what I understand, there's going to be a classified briefing from the commander of Southcom to Congress, like a classified press briefing. So yeah, I don't know who made what decision or when it was made or what decision everybody's scrutinizing, but that's what's like under the microscope right now. So I would encourage you to look up like who's talked about it and stuff, because like, again, I just don't have time to dig into it, and I'm not gonna like try to steer you in a direction when I don't know. Like I just don't have all the facts or know what the hell is going on with it. And it's like I said, it's just gotten super muddied.
the threat to the United States was eliminated.
If they were bringing tacos
Secretary
and tequila for
Hegseth
Tuesday, I
stands
think we'd
behind
allow
Admiral
it.
Bradley 100%. Admiral Bradley made the
Using
right
an
call,
M2 on a
and
human is
unlike
against the
previous
rules of war,
administration,
but
we
literally
have our
every unit
warfighters
did it.
back
Yeah,
at
100%.
this department.
Well,
This
not only-
department will defend.
Not only that, but like when we were conducting kinetic strikes in CENTCOM and stuff like that, we were dropping JDAMs on top of dudes constantly, like, and all kinds of other stuff. You know, so it's I don't know where the line was drawn or like what the full situation is again. So it's like tough for me to say like who said what or like what the actual situation was. I don't know. It's tough. It's a complicated situation, but like I said, bottom line is I think the Southcom commander is giving a classified press briefing tomorrow to Congress. I think it's tomorrow. So I don't know if we're probably not going to see any of that because if it's a classified press briefing, it's not going to be aired live. It's going to be like in a private maybe some kind of a skiff room. I don't know. I don't know who exactly he's going to be briefing.
Our homeland, this is not a catchphrase, it is a commitment. And as the
Napalm.
Secretary said, when it comes to killing narco-terrorists, we have only just begun. Lastly, I would like to announce that the War Department has created a new division for strategic marketing that will be led by Abby Lower, who will hold the title of Deputy Assistant to the Secretary of War for Strategic Marketing. The division will be a new core function within public affairs and will complement our media and strategic engagement teams. The purpose of this new division is to create marketing campaigns that support the War Department's military recruitment efforts, providing a halo effect to the great work the military services are already doing to recruit our nation's warfighters. And with that, I'd be happy to take your questions. Yes, Caitlin.
Thanks, Kingsley. Can you talk about the autonomy that's given to the commanders who are carrying out these operations, like Admiral Bradley, to make decisions? Like in this case, I'm assuming
big facts.
The first strike.
That's true. There's very few people that are looking at some of these things when somebody's trying to actively cause harm to them.
Took out the boat and any actions that followed. Can you talk about the autonomy they're given?
Absolutely. So the Secretary has been very clear in every statement that we've released about these strikes that they are presidentially directed. And the chain of command functions as it should. And we make sure that commanders on the ground are their positions are taken into account, and they are able to tell us and make decisions if they see things that need to be flagged. But at the end of the day, the Secretary and the President are the ones directing these strikes. And any follow-on strikes like those which were directed by Admiral Bradley, the Secretary 100% agrees with. Yes, Matt.
Kingsley, if Nicolas Maduro leaves Venezuela today, what role will the Department of War have in a post-Maduro?
What is... That's funny. Representative Matt Gaetz is in there now. That's interesting. I didn't expect to see him in there.
Venezuela, and describe the process the administration will use to determine whether or not current members of the Venezuelan military...
You thought I was a mean, scary dude? Dude, I am like not mean, or I don't think I look intimidating at all. I don't know where you got that from. I'm like, honestly, man, it's probably partially because I'm getting older, and the older you get, like the less interested you are in trying to like show off or, portray yourself as something that you're not, It's just easier to be yourself and just be a normal human being. You know what I mean?
Venezuelan government have a role in a post-Maduro.
The strong brow.
Thanks
I
for
don't
the
know
question.
if I got a strong brow.
So the department has a contingency
I got a lot
plan
of
for everything.
I got a lot
we
of
are a planning organization.
seborrheic dermatitis
If
in my
anything were to happen
eyebrows,
around
lots
the
of
world,
dead skin.
We have a response planned and ready. So we stand at the president's beck and call, our commander-in-chief, to do what is needed if called upon. And that will be what this
people
department
probably think
continues
that
to
I'm
focus on and continues to prepare for in regards to our ongoing operations in the Southcom region. Again, our focus is taking out
People might think I'm
narco-terrorists
angry if I'm
and
serious
rooting
or
out that
thinking.
threat that is poisoning the American people. Every single boat that we strike saves 25,000 American lives. That is a crucial mission to protecting the homeland. And we're
don't
proud to be a
care
part of it.
video.
Quickly, so, following the departure of Saddam Hussein, there was this desire to name every Ba'athist a terrorist. Does the administration take the view
What's up,
that
brother?
any person who served in the Venezuelan military or Venezuelan government is definitionally a narco-terrorist?
That would be a determination for the president to make,
Rex,
but I
what's
can
up,
tell you
brother?
that
How you
every
doing?
single person who we have hit thus far, who is in a drug boat carrying narcotics to the United States, is a narco-terrorist. Our intelligence has confirmed that, and we stand by it. Yes, Monica.
Thanks, Kingsley. I have 2 questions, if I may.
So right now, that is the justification for strikes on these narco trafficking vessels, is that the Department of State classified all of these organizations that are doing that as foreign terrorist organizations, or FTOs, and they are justifying kinetic strikes, like lethal force with the military, to essentially protect Americans at the homeland from narco-terrorists trafficking drugs to the United States. So that's based on what I've heard, based on what I've read, based on these briefings. That is my interpretation of how they're justifying it. Now, how you want to feel about that, that's up to you.
For your first question regarding Sarah Beckstrom, the 20-year-old West Virginia National Guardswoman who was shot and killed, was her family offered
the RPG video?
And,
That's so weird, man. That's such a weird video.
I know that the
Makes
White
me
House
money
is
growing
working
on
that out, so they might be
Launch
better
'em off.
to describe
must be in
what the plans
Colorado.
are for that. But this department will, of course, support in any way we can,
Minda.
and have been
What's up, Minda?
in close contact with the family, and the secretary will continue to do so. So we'll keep you all
Bought
updated
stock
on
in
that.
several
my
military
second
industrial
question,
complex companies
regarding
before
Iran,
Trump
there
was
are
elected, and
reports
everybody
that
said, but he
Iran's
didn't
been
start any new
planning
wars.
on rebuilding its nuclear facilities. Iranian's president has said that it plans to rebuild its nuclear facilities with, quote, greater strength. Can you provide us on any sort of update on where that currently stands?
I can tell you that Operation Midnight Hammer was an absolute resounding success. Iran's nuclear capabilities were totally obliterated, and experts estimated that, it would take 2 years for them to recover. So thanks to President Trump's bold and swift action, we were able to dismantle that threat to the American people. And I think it was also a historic operation.
Corey said, I honestly feel like everyone should see these narcos with their own eyes, just see how powerful they are and why it's now being taken serious. Well, I think that there was discussions, or at least I think that the president talked about in his cabinet meeting today. I think he mentioned something about there may be some strikes on land coming, which that's going to be a significant escalation in where we're kind of at right now.
By virtue of the fact that there was a clear end state. We have seen this department get marred down in the Middle East in endless wars in nation building. That has stopped under this president and this secretary. We now have a clear end state, a clear mission set, and Operation Midnight Hammer was a success in dismantling that. Yes, Laura.
Thanks so much for having me here today. Now that the president has started the process of designating the Muslim Brotherhood as a foreign Islamic terrorist organization, will the department...
That's Laura Loomer. Do you guys know who Laura Loomer is?
of War still proceed with selling F-15 fighter jets to Qatar? And how will they be able to train Qatari pilots at their air base in Idaho if Qatar is included in the designation?
Thank you for the question. We
so ready to speak in one-word sentences.
Our partnerships, and we always do thorough evaluations to make sure that they protect our intelligence, our operational security, and that they serve the best interests of the American people. The U.S. military has a long-standing partnership with Qatar.
I saw a very interesting video of her, actually. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. There was an interesting video that she posted. Or not she didn't post, but somebody else posted it of... Oh my God, what? Oh, here it is.
Your hair and your eyes look so good. You're like beautiful.
Thank you.
You're like an Aryan degenerate goddess.
Thank you.
I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. You're Aryan too.
I know, but I'm Jewish.
It's okay.
Because you're such a cutie.
Don't mess my hair. God damn it. Fix it.
I disagree.
Fix my hair.
I disagree completely.
Did you fix it?
I did. But like that picture you posted on Instagram recently when you got like reinstated on Facebook was so hot. Like seriously.
I appreciate it.
It's so good.
It's a good picture.
Your skin and
Bro, this is the craziest. Who was recording this? That's what I want to know. Like, bro, I would not want somebody recording me while I'm like in an environment out in public like that, talking to people. And I wonder if she knew she was being recorded. Like,
and the Nazis hate me.
Oh, she says the Nazis hate her. Well, yeah, obviously Nazis don't like Jews, and she even admitted to being a Jew, or Jewish. Sorry, not being a Jew, but being Jewish,
It's fun.
The alt-right people want to put me in a gas chamber.
Jesus, that's a really... So here's the thing. People who have large followings on social media, especially, get all kinds of threats all the time because not everyone's going to like your opinion or the way you present information or the way that you talk or any of that stuff. So I've dealt with my fair share of weird stuff like that. I'm sure, being who she is, she's a little bit more controversial than I am. Like, I'm pretty tame and like very like center of the road, but she's a lot more controversial than me, and I'm sure that she's probably experienced a lot of extreme stuff on social media. That would be my assumption.
Because they're obsessed with the Jews.
I think they're just memeing on you, but it's okay.
It's okay.
Right.
I don't care. I love it.
It'd be like that sometimes.
I know. They're just jealous because I have big tits and an Ashkenazi IQ.
Yeah.
Ashkenazi IQ. What does that mean? Ashkenazi IQ. What is Ashkenazi IQ? Okay. Ashkenazi Jews have an average IQ of 115, which is 1 SD higher than the average. Interesting. I don't know who did that test. The intelligence of American Jews. Let's see. So this is going to be a lot longer than I wanted. Okay. The data suggests the mean IQ in the 117 range for Ashkenazi Jewish children, with a verbal IQ in the range of 125 and a performance IQ in the average range. The paper also writes that Jewish people considered as a group tend to excel in some cognitive domains, for example, verbal and numerical ability, but not others, as witness their unexceptional performance in certain types of spatial or perceptual problems. Storfer concludes that American Jews have an average IQ of about 112 on the Stanford Binet, largely a test of verbal ability. All right, well, whatever. I've never heard that. I've never heard anyone say that before. That's the first time I've ever heard anybody say anything in relation to IQ for like race or creed or nationality. I didn't know if I didn't really think there was supposed to be a difference. I figured all human beings are just like, what's the word for it? I think, in my opinion, and I don't know anything, I'm not like a scientist or a researcher, but I would imagine that your IQ is largely based on like who your parents were, whether they were together when you were born, whether they were together throughout your life, what kind of food your mother ate when she was pregnant with you, what kind of activities your mother did while she was pregnant with you, and like how you were raised and where you were raised and what type of an education you had when you were young. I think that would definitely have a significant impact, much more than race, creed, or nationality. That's just my, I guess, hypothesis, if you will, my educated guess.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
You got it.
Anyway, next time you're in New York, let me know. We'll hang out. Bring your girlfriend to New York sometime, and we'll all hang out. We'll go to like really cool restaurants and hang out, and we'll have a blast.
Yes,
It'll be so
I will
much
bring
fun.
my girlfriend.
Yeah, I want to meet. What's Becca?
Yeah.
Becca.
Yes.
She's so sweet.
You remember?
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Why she's got her arm on him? He's got to be super uncomfortable. He's got his arms crossed too, so he's like in a defensive posture.
You'll meet her.
You guys are so sweet. I hope it works out because, like I said, I know it's all in.
Look at his friend, dude. His friend, Mantramoth. What's up, man? Thanks for subbing to the channel, dude. His friend is like, yo, what is going on?
Nah, like I know everything you do on Twitter is like so fake and not real, but
Yeah,
like
it's all fake.
it's so sweet that you like and your girlfriend have been together for 3 years. I love it.
I know. It's all an act.
Do you know something? Like I'm gonna tell you a secret. Like, do you know so many people in this movement who preach trad life are like fucking people on the side and like cheating on their partners?
That's
like,
so bad.
Like they're not even like really trad life.
Such
like
scum.
Like my ex is like dating somebody who's like super trad life, and she was like fucking my boyfriend while we were dating and like ruined our relationship. And I act like it's okay, but like it's really sad because like I love when.
Bro, what? 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 Don't drink in public, kids. She is ovulating. Jesus Christ. Oh my God, dude. That is the wildest thing to say, man. Why is she bringing that up? And she's got her arm around him. Oh man. And he's probably like, bro, what are you doing? Oh, dude. Like, no. That'd be a big no for me. I'd be like, hey, dude, you can't have your, like, one arm's distance, man. One arm's distance. Like, we can dap it. We can dap it up. Like, you know, we can fist bump. We can shake hands. Like, I'm cool with that. That's cool. Or like, hey, you know, hug goodbye kind of thing. That's fine. But arm around the shoulder, that's a no-go, bro. That's a no-go for me, man. And I would imagine if you're in a relationship, that should be a no-go for you too, or married. He has to know that they're being recorded. I don't know. She had to have known too, though, you know, like, because the person was like circling around. She had to be a little bit inebriated at this point, I imagine.
People like keep, you know, tradition in their relationships. It's just really sad.
That's crazy, dude. Anyway, back to the press conference.
And we look forward to continuing that partnership at our airbase in Idaho. And I would just point out that
Peppermint
for reference,
I bet her breath smelled like peppermint and rainbows.
Idaho Air Base is not just
Becca is gonna hang him. I don't even know who that guy was.
Folks that are there.
You guys know who that dude was?
It is a base that we do a lot of foreign military training, and we are thankful for those partnerships, and we'll continue.
Yeah, if the roles were reversed, it would have been bad
again,
news
that national
bears.
security is protected. That is the Secretary's utmost priority.
But given the fact that the Qatari royal family and Qatar itself is the biggest financier.
That's the same lady right there, bro. That's her. This lady? That is this lady, right? Cheer, bro. Same people. Same person.
Along with Turkey, of course, the financier of the Muslim Brotherhood. Would that relationship and partnership be reevaluated since the designation could possibly include Qatar?
I'm not tracking any reevaluation
Good thing
at this time, but
good
again,
thing
the
that guy's
Secretary
not in the
really
press
keeps
conference. He would have
national
been like,
security
bro,
top
this
of
is
mind, and
uncomfortable.
This administration does as well, so we will always make sure that American assets are protected.
Johnny Depp is afraid of clowns?
Yes.
Hi, David
I
Zia,
didn't know
Real
that.
America's Voice. It's great to be here. I want to know if you can confirm any additional National Guard deployments under Title 10 in additional cities, and have any governors reached out for help under Title
Real America's
32
Voice.
as well? And how do you determine how National Guard troops, how many are armed?
Great question.
It's the same
So I don't
lady.
have anything to announce at this time in terms of new deployments.
You think she had
but
a nose
I can tell
job?
you that our mission set
I don't know.
is
I don't-
critical. We are
I don't know
keeping
enough about
American
that
cities
stuff.
safe all across this country, and we are going to remain committed to that. These
She
missions
looks
aren't
very
going to
different.
stop in Chicago, in Los Angeles, in D.C. We understand the urgent threat that is facing many of these cities, and the National Guard is proud to step in alongside
might
our
have,
law
I don't know.
enforcement partners to help with that. And I can't confirm
Women
that
get so
everybody
much
in
stuff
DC
done these
is now
days, man,
armed.
like
And a lot of our
Botox
DC
and
National Guardsmen are now also doing
lipo
joint
and
patrols
tanning
with members
beds
of the
and
police department here in DC. So their
sometimes
safety is,
implants.
of course, top of mind, and we will continue to
Sometimes-
make sure
No,
that
not-
they're
not
able to do their
Kingsley, no.
jobs in keeping all of our great Americans
I
safe
think he
across
was
our
talking
cities.
about Laura.
Yes, Bradley.
We're now 90 days into these Venezuelan drug boat strikes. A growing number of members on Capitol Hill are getting their medal up.
What I'm talking about right now has nothing to do with this press conference, by the way, but I think a lot of women feel pressured to get a lot of this work done because they feel like that's the only way that they can be competitive in the dating world, maybe, or that they can, you know, keep their partners attracted to. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Like, there's a lot of pressure inside the community of women, and maybe part of it's because of online discourse and like the internet. I don't know, you know, because like I don't feel like that was as rampant back in the day, you know, except for people in Hollywood who are all in movies and show business and stuff because they're always in front of a camera. But I don't think your average person was as concerned about that kind of stuff before social media.
With regard to war powers, if they do move forward with some sort of war powers effort, will the administration seek to challenge the validity of the war powers resolution, or will it comply?
I wouldn't want to get ahead of the president's decision-making process in regard to Venezuela, but I can tell you what I mentioned earlier is that the department is a planning organization. We are always ready. We have plans for every single contingency, and we are going to make sure that when it comes to narco-terrorism, we're dismantling that throughout the Western Hemisphere, and you've seen that in the success of our strikes.
One follow-up, if I may. 53% in a recent CBS YouGov poll said they support the strikes on these drug boats, but 70% said no military operations within Venezuela. Nevertheless, members of Congress are increasingly calling for regime change there. What's the Department of War's message to those members of Congress?
The Department of War stands behind the president 100%, and we will execute on the orders that our commander-in-chief gives us.
They don't
and
do
we're
it for
proud
themselves.
To do
They do it
so.
to
That will
attract men
continue.
because they feel
and
like they
again,
can't
any
naturally.
decision that is going to be made
I don't know.
about certain military actions in the Western
I'm not a
Hemisphere
woman, so-
region will be the president's alone.
I always think
Yes.
I think about that stuff from time to time, though. It's a lot of pressure.
There's been a lot of reporting that, yes, it's about drugs in Venezuela, but also possibly about election
Hussein, we'll
fraud
see in a second.
electronically. Do you have any comment on that? And also, are assets, we've heard that Special Operations Aviation assets are exercising for direct action missions in that region. Can you confirm that at all?
On your first question, I would refer you to the State Department. I think they would probably be able to give you a better answer on that. But in terms of your second question, I can tell you that we are conducting training missions
Palmetto,
and
that's probably-
exercises. We've got the Ford aircraft
Probably
carrier
accurate.
now that is down there in the Southcom region. And as I said, the
Influencers
Department's a
didn't
planning
help with
organization. So
self-esteem.
a big part of that planning is doing trainings and make sure that we're ready at a moment's notice to protect our interests and to protect the American people from narco-terrorism.
It's also probably true, JPAT.
Yes, RC.
Has there been a determination at this point from the
You could
Army
be a woman if you
Secretary
wanted
on
to.
a Distinguished Service Medal for
Could I,
Specialist
though?
Sarah Beckstrom?
You sure?
I would refer you to the Army for that, and if I hear anything, I will keep you posted. That would be wonderful news. Yes, James.
Hi, James O'Keefe.
Hi,
Nicholas
James
Terza, branch
O'Keefe.
chief here at the Pentagon, was caught on a video in the spring stating, quote, "Trump is illegitimate. We're going to resist him, quote, everything he does." We know there are other people like this that work here. My question is, what steps is the Department of War taking to identify and address personnel who are in the self-described resistance movement?
Thank you
You
for
got
the
the
question.
brows
That's
for
why
it.
the work you all do is so important. This is a big building. And
She's
we
got
wanna
some
make sure that
brows
we
for
have
it.
the absolute best people working at it to protect.
She definitely gets her brows done. Look at that perfectly straight line, dude. That's a perfectly straight line. Very symmetrical. You know?
Americans every single day. We don't take lightly what every single civilian
My eyebrows
military
are all
person in this
jacked
building
up,
do every
and I
single
got
day.
skin
They do a
falling
lot of
out of
hard
them.
work, and we want to make sure that they're up to the task.
Homeboy
that they're
got 2 used
on board
napkins
and
and 40
willing to
medium
serve
rounds.
Our commander-in-chief, who was elected by the whole of the American people,
Oh, our graders.
to serve as our president, and we support him 100% here at the Department of War. That is our mission. That is our chain of
You
command.
could use makeup to do that.
So
That's fair.
personnel is policy. The secretary has said that many times, and I know you all in this room are aware of that as well. That was really the crux of his speech at Quantico not long ago to the generals. Our people are our most important asset, so we will continue to make sure that our people are consistently
It's not very
putting
masculine to
America
ever
first.
think
That's
about
something
what
we
your
care very much
eyebrows
about.
look like. Yeah, I don't really think much about my eyebrows, to be honest with you.
Host or hold more of these regular press briefings,
Except for the
and if
fact
so,
that I got
how
a bunch of like
frequently?
flakes
Absolutely,
of
we'd
skin
love
in
to.
them.
It'd be great to
Because
get
it's
everybody
distracting
in
when
here.
I'm trying to make videos.
I know we have the Christmas holiday coming up, but we'd love to make it a weekly or bi-weekly tradition. So we're excited to have you all in the Pentagon for those.
And we receiving more readouts of the Secretary of War's meetings, with the president yesterday, much like the State Department and the White House.
Whatever, I got the manliest eyebrows.
Readouts and scheduling and things like that. Will we be receiving more of
Manliest
those?
eyebrows.
Absolutely. In the interest, as I said in my opening, in the interest of transparency, we want to make sure that you all are informed. That's a commitment we take seriously.
I got
Obviously,
like
we're
a
slightly different than other agencies
skin
in that we
condition,
have national
Caitlin.
security and operational concerns.
Causes a lot of
but we
flaky
will tell
skin
you
in
as
your
much as
eyebrows.
we can because we want the American public
It's
to
like
know
dry skin.
all the incredible things that our warfighters are doing every single day and all the amazing initiatives the Secretary is pursuing here at the Department of War.
I think it started
Yes.
from stress.
Jordan Conrad from Gateway Pundit. I wanted to ask you, in May, the Secretary announced a new investigation
Keep lashes and dirt
into
out of
the
your
Afghanistan
eyes, nothing
withdrawal
falls.
under Biden.
That's
In
the way
light
they're
of
supposed to work.
recent events with one of these
They're
refugees
functioning.
killing a service member, is there any updates on that investigation?
I don't have any updates for you at this time, but I can tell you that the review that we're doing into the horrendous Afghanistan withdrawal under the previous administration, the Biden administration, is expected to be
Tea tree
complete by
oil.
summer of 2026. And we are committed to ensuring that this review, unlike others, is much more unredacted, that the American people are able to consume the report for themselves and see what truly happened on that fateful day and that fateful withdrawal. And we owe it to our service members to accomplish that. The review is being led by our chief Pentagon spokesman and senior advisor to the Secretary, Sean Parnell, an Afghan veteran himself. And he takes very seriously the
Parnell is leading the
responsibility
investigation
to getting
for the
answers to the
withdrawal.
American people. So we are committed to that 100%. And in summer
Interesting.
2026, the public will be able to have that report. Yes.
Thank you, Kinsley. Question for you in regards to the Afghan withdrawal. When we
Gorilla
brought these
Patrick,
migrants
same.
onto military bases, or these refugees onto military bases, we saw a surge in assaults immediately after, sexual assault and physical assaults. And then all of a sudden, under the previous administration, we no longer learned of anything that was happening anymore on these military bases. Does this Pentagon plan on giving us some type of criminal data on that to see what actually happened when they were brought onto these military bases? And do we have any status updates on like FBI investigations and such?
So for FBI investigations, anything that would be a criminal law enforcement matter would obviously
Vitamin
be
E is
something
good
to
too.
direct
Head
to the
and Shoulders,
Department of
yeah.
Justice, as we cannot speak to that from our perch here at the Department of War. But what I can tell you is that we are aware of a lot of that activity that went on. It's despicable. One is
Selson
too
Blue.
many,
It's another
right?
good one, yeah.
And we understand
True.
that the Biden administration unfortunately put our troops and our country last in many cases. The secretary is committed to correcting that. And I think that's what you're going to see going forward. Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
Selson Blue is evil burger shower,
Somalia,
though.
which isn't talked about very much, but we have done 101 strikes in Somalia in 2025. And there was
101.
there was a raid carried out in some caves, and I'm quoting former Congressman Matt Gaetz, who I didn't realize would be here today, but he asked why we're sending, quote, hundreds of U.S. troops into fortified caves in Somalia to kill like 5 guys. And I think it's a good question as to why the U.S. military is still in Somalia.
Thank you for the question. So I can assure you, right, this is an America First Department of War and president. So we aren't conducting forever wars in Somalia. We're not seeking regime change or, we're not nation building. But I will say that this department's narrowly
It's not
scoped,
uncomfortable. How do I know it's
intelligence-driven
working?
counterterrorism operations in places like Somalia, alongside our partners,
Palmetto
allow
paratrooper.
us to protect the American homeland
You ever put
from
super glue in
terrorist
a
threats
cut?
and to protect our interests.
That's
so
when you know you're
we
a
will
real
continue
man.
to make sure that the
Put
American
super
people
glue in
are
your
kept safe.
cuts.
That's our utmost priority.
I've done that.
But we're not
Many
isolationists.
times.
We're also not neocons. We're realists. We understand that threats face the American people every single day.
Hey, it's quick.
We take that
It
incredibly
works.
seriously. But at the same time, we're always going to make sure that we're putting America first.
And if I could follow up on Laura's question, actually, but from a different angle, she mentioned that are we reassessing our
If it
relationship
doesn't burn,
with
it's
Qatar
not
because
working.
of funding of the Muslim Brotherhood?
Only in some
It's been
cases.
widely documented in
Cooper,
mainstream
what's up, brother?
Israeli papers that the Israeli government funded Hamas, which we also designate as a terrorist organization. Are we therefore reassessing our relationship with Israel because of this?
That would be a better question for the State Department, as they're the ones who have those foreign diplomatic channels. Yes, Ryan.
Thank you. And thank you for doing this press briefing. I wanted to get back to the Southcom strikes real quick, just broadly speaking, not specifically about the September 2nd strike, but broadly speaking, are we doing any kinds of post-strike assessments to determine that the intelligence that informed those strikes was accurate? Are we recovering any drugs on board those vessels? You mentioned
Who is that guy?
each vessel struck is equivalent
Hold
to
on.
20.
Does anybody know who this guy is? He looks very young. Not that I don't think he's capable. I'm sure that he's just as capable of intelligent thought. Like, he's bringing up some points, but I've never seen this guy before, and he does look very young. I don't know. Do you guys know who he is?
25,000 overdose deaths. So are we mostly picking up fentanyl or cocaine or what have you? What's going on with these boats? Like, what's on these boats?
Yeah, thank
No
you for the
jacket,
question.
shirt needs
I can
ironing.
tell you in terms of your question about intelligence that
You bring
our
up a good
intelligence
point,
absolutely
Biznat.
confirms who these people are. And I can't get into right from this podium how
He's
we know
married.
that. I don't want to communicate to the enemy the ways in which we're carrying out these strikes. But I can tell you that without a shadow of a doubt, every single one of our military and civilian
Good
lawyers
image
knows
search.
that these individuals are narco-terrorists. We know what they're carrying, where they're coming from, and where they're going. And they are trying to bring drugs to our shores that kill and hurt American citizens. The president takes that very seriously. And when he designated these groups designated terrorist organizations, that opened up a lot for us here at the Department of War. We can engage in ways that we never could before. So that's all I can say at the moment on that topic, but I can 100% affirm that we know without a shadow of a doubt who these narco-terrorists are. Yes, Wade.
So you were speaking earlier about the Washington Post report concerning the Secretary of War and Admiral Bradley. And my question is, does the Department of War plan on pursuing any sort of legal action against the Washington Post? And
James
what
O'Keefe.
consequences will there be for lying to the American people? Because, of course, the implication there was that Pete Hegseth and Admiral Bradley are war criminals. And that was the implication, and that's what a lot of people on social media were saying after the fact. So could you speak to that?
Yeah, it is frankly disgusting that the Washington Post would publish something that is so insanely false. And we've seen this from the mainstream media before, right? Anonymous sources
Superglue is the goat.
that are being quoted that probably have no idea what's going on. And the Washington Post actually went so far as to falsely attribute a quote to the Secretary of War, that he never said. That is preposterous that they would write that and pass that off as true journalism. Thankfully, the New York Times stepped in in and corrected the record and let the American people know that what they were publishing was absolutely fake news. So the Washington Post, I think readership should think twice before reading that outlet again. It is disgraceful.
So the Washington Post was the one that posted the article talking about that Secretary Hegseth was a war criminal, and then the New York Times, of all news organizations, the New York Times kind of rebutted that. That's interesting. I'd have to look into that a little bit because I'm not familiar.
They call themselves journalists, and we told them as such, right? We get press queries like we do
Cory
from all
Butler.
of you. We told them this story was completely fake news
Yeah, she
on
looks pretty young,
Thanksgiving
too.
evening with a 3-hour
She's definitely in her
deadline,
20s.
and they still published it anyway. It's disgraceful, but thankfully the American people see through it. Yes, Jack.
Kingsley, does the Secretary's office or the Pentagon in general, the department, have a message for Senator Wicker, who, as a Republican, has now backed this inquiry into Secretary Hegseth, again, accusing him of war crimes? It seemed strange to see a Republican going after one of President Trump's own cabinet members.
So I can confirm that the Secretary of War spoke with Senator Wicker,
I think it's
and they had a good
Posobiec.
conversation where he was able to explain to him a lot of the rationale behind these strikes. And we work closely with all of our partners on the Hill, whether Republican or Democrat, to keep them
She
up
could
to
have been
date
born in
on what
99,
this department is
for all we
doing in
know.
regards to the strike. So we will continue to do that, and we'll continue
could be
to brief
25.
members of HASC and SASC, and we look forward to continuing those relationships.
Quick follow-up, you mentioned working with partners on the Hill. Another senator on the Hill, the Democrat side, is Senator Mark Kelly. Now, we heard some reporting about a possible investigation into him regarding his status as a retired member of the United States Navy, still on pension, and therefore still under the jurisdiction of the Uniform Code of Military Justice. And as such, his membership, you mentioned the seditious six, would that be grounds for possibly bringing him back to active service for an investigation, for NJP, or even a full court-martial?
So you're correct. The Department of War received serious allegations of misconduct against Senator Mark Kelly, and in accordance with the Uniform Code of Military Justice and other applicable recommendations and regulations, we're doing a thorough review of all of these allegations. And the Secretary of War has tasked the Secretary of the Navy, John Phelan, with doing a thorough review, looking into all of these allegations, and providing him an update on December 10th. So we will have more information to come on that. But I would just add that this despicable video that Mark Kelly participated in with
Dark
the
Knight, I was in
seditious
ninth
six,
grade when 9/11 happened.
was
so.
a politically motivated influence operation that was an attempt to undermine the chain of command, to sow distrust and division in our armed forces.
Same spot,
that is
Palmetto.
absolutely ridiculous, and it puts our warfighters at risk. And again, he doubled down on the Sunday shows. I don't know if you all saw him on the Sunday shows.
Yeah, we're all millennials.
But he basically insinuated that service members who do not defy President Trump's orders could face potential prosecution in the future when Democrats are back in power.
Wasn't even born, Hussein?
He even called our troops and likened them to those of the Russian military. This is totally disgraceful from an elected official, and the department takes it very seriously, and that is why we have launched
Don't be
this
in a
review.
hurry to get old, trust me.
Just to be clear, so if Secretary Phelan were to recommend court-martial, that would be on the board?
What was the question? Sorry.
If Secretary Phelan were to recommend court-martial, that could be an option on the table?
All options are on the table at this moment in time, and we look forward to getting the Secretary of the Navy's review. And the Secretary of War has been very clear in his statements as well that he takes this extremely seriously, and it is.
I don't know if I've ever seen a representative, either a senator or a congressman, get called back to active service to get court-martialed before. I think that would be a first. If they decide to go through with it.
Unacceptable. That's all the time I have.
Unless I'm mistaken. Maybe there's a case. I've never heard of that happening before, but I mean, there's a first time for everything.
Today. Thank you all so much. I really appreciate you coming out.
All right, well, that's it.